broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I'm here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
Hot.
Hot?
It's hot.
It's been worse.
It's been worse. It will be worse.
And
but...
yeah. Hey, at least we're into July now.
Yeah, at least it makes sense for it to be hot now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean,
I live
it's
in
hot
South
for like
Alabama.
8 months out of the year.
Exactly. It's just part of where we live.
My brother, they just got a house in Ohio that has a pool, and he was telling me yesterday, he's like, oh yeah, everybody's got a pool now. Like, pools are everywhere. And I was like, yeah, but you only have like a traditional swimming season in Ohio. Like, I mean, it makes more sense here, like here in Florida and so forth, where you could swim like 8 months out of the year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, I understand having your own personal pool when you can swim for like 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it. When
that was something we went
like
back
3 or
and
4.
forth when we were house hunting was having the pool or not having the pool. Now, a house that had a pool wasn't a deal breaker for us. It wasn't like absolutely we're not buying a house with the pool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't wanting a house with the pool.
No?
Well, at the time I had smaller children.
Well,
and,
yeah.
And that was a factor. But also a factor was, man, that's a lot of work keeping up with the pool.
Yeah, it is.
Just feels like it's more maintenance than I want to deal with. You know, I mean, pay somebody to do it, but then I got to pay somebody to do it. Do it myself, but I'm pretty lazy. Like, you know, I don't know. When I saw Danny had got the house with the pool, I was like, oh, well, good for him. But
yeah,
that's not for me.
Well, I mean, it'll be nice if I visit in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, pools are great. I love pools. I'm just saying, as far as like being responsible for one, I don't know, man.
Yeah. He's more motivated than either one of us, though.
That's 100% true. I absolutely.
Well, so have you? I'd be surprised if you've seen it, but had you heard of the movie One Battle After Another?
I have not.
Okay. Well, I think it won the Best Picture Oscar last year, and it was like a really divisive movie.
Sounds like my type of movie.
Along political lines.
Yeah. And
so I watched it for the first time, and you know what I heard from the left is that it was a fantastic movie, and what I heard from the right is that it was terrible.
Yeah.
And because they made their protagonists this like revolutionary group, you know, pushing for a communist revolution, like violently pushing for a communist revolution in the U.S.
Yeah.
And they brought in some real world things. So like the movie starts off with them like freeing an immigration camp, you know, and like this kind of thing.
Oh, that's one way to do it.
So I watched it, and I thought it was a satire.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it that bad?
Like I watched it, and I thought that they made the left wingers over the top and the right wingers over the top. I thought it, like both sides looked absolutely ridiculous in it. So I am not sure. Anybody else that's seen it, I want to know what you think. Send me an email at michael@thelibertymike.com or make a comment on the Facebook page or something like that, because either it really was a satire and it was hilarious, or it wasn't and it was unintentionally hilarious.
It was funny either way, though, right? The satire thing when it comes to politics is always a funny thing because, you know, the Ron Swanson character was written as a satire for libertarians.
Right.
But we just we were
like, yeah, he's got it exactly right.
He just nails it the whole time. So.
I mean, that might be the case here, is that the left thinks that like what was going on in that film was very noble and heroic.
Yeah.
Instead of absurd.
Yeah.
And so that's why they've latched onto it. And because they latched onto it in that way, the right wing
just latched onto the other side just as
came
hard.
Out against it.
Yeah.
And I see that they definitely made the left side the protagonist and the right wing side the antagonist. And like maybe that's reason enough. But I just thought that both sides, the characters were just ridiculous and absurd,
just too far out.
Yeah. And I will also say for it that Leonardo DiCaprio was awesome in it.
Oh, so he's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, how have I not
Yeah.
at least ran that across my... I have tons of DiCaprio movies I haven't seen, but I've usually at least heard of them.
Yeah. The best character, I think, was Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
He played his Latin revolutionary character like he was in a Wes Anderson film, which is just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that it was really funny.
Well, I have homework now, so I need to see this.
Yeah, it's on, or I don't know if it still is, but I watched it on Prime,
Okay.
free on Prime.
Nice. Okay.
So hopefully it's still there. One battle after another.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
interested.
long though. You're probably not gonna be able to do it in one sitting. I didn't.
Yeah, I hate long
It's like
movies.
2.5 hours. You know,
That's so
It's
long,
Like
man.
nobody has editors anymore. Apparently.
Yeah. Especially for a satire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta cut some of this out.
But I thought it was pretty funny.
Wow. I'm interested. You've got my attention.
And I guess as long as we're talking about the political dichotomy in the U.S., and I guess this is an observation I'm pretty sure I made before. I might not have made it on the podcast, and it wasn't so conscious as it's been since Lindsey Graham died, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that, like, I can totally identify what party you associate with based on which wars you are opposed to and which wars you are for.
I mean, Lindsey Graham was for all of them. So.
Well, yeah, but he's...
But him and John McCain were in this, like, special camp where, I mean, they were just bought and paid for by...
Yeah, conflict anywhere.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, in this day and age, if you are opposed to the war in Ukraine and advocate for the wars in the Middle East, then you're a Republican.
Yep.
And if you are opposed to the wars in the Middle East and advocate for war against Russia, then you are a Democrat.
Yeah.
Generally
I
speaking.
mean, that does line up.
And if you are opposed to all of the wars, you might be a libertarian.
I would say you're pretty... I mean, if you're not fully libertarian, you've got heavy leans.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to me because there's not a whole lot of difference morally in these two wars as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, not at all. And so I think I had told you the other day, I was listening to No Agenda, and when they don't talk about Ukraine that much because it's not they're news deconstruction, and it's not really in the news as much anymore. But it did come up the other day, and I had almost forgot that they were good on that.
Oh,
like when they started, I was like, oh yeah, like they don't actually support this one. Mm-hmm. And I wonder how much of that just comes down to who was in office when the war started.
oh,
Because I do think because Democrats were in office when Ukraine kicked up, and now Republicans are the ones kicking in the sand again. So
yeah, but the Middle East wars
have traditionally been a Republican thing.
started under the Biden administration with the October 7th attacks.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
But he was like kind of walking the tightrope on that one.
Yeah, he
till
was
the end of
one
his
foot
term.
in, one out.
Yeah.
And I mean, Trump, to his credit, I mean, he was both feet in even when he was campaigning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as he was saying no new wars, no forever wars, I mean, we knew where he was leaning as far as that type of thing was concerned.
I mean, he did set the stage for leaving Afghanistan, and we're the better for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Even though he should have just done it during his term in office instead of leaving it to Biden. And it definitely got screwed up under Biden, but I'm still, like, on balance, it's worked out in our favor to not be involved in Afghanistan anymore.
Yeah.
They do seem to have a government particularly has a real problem with the sunk cost fallacy.
Yes.
Like the idea that, well, we've already sacrificed so much for this, we got to see it through to the end. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, really. I mean, and I guess maybe that's just a whole lot easier when it's somebody else's money.
Yeah.
When they're using our money to do this. Or as a friend of mine at work said to me today, he's like, no, our taxes don't go to the wars. That's what they print money for.
And that's so correct.
Yeah.
Because they could never tax us enough. We wouldn't allow it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the reason they have to do the hidden tax with the money printer.
Yeah.
And that particularly resonates when it comes to Trump with this war, because I really do feel
this war being which one?
This war being the Iran.
Okay.
Because I think he believes, he's like, man, if we can just get like a big victory and then walk away, I can sell this as a win.
Yeah. If we can just blow up enough stuff and kill enough people.
Yeah, well, and then his mind get more of a capitulation from Iran, because that's what he needs. He needs, and this is something that Dave brought up, but seems to be checking out, best I can tell, is that Trump seems the Iranians are refusing to let Trump walk away and save face. Mm-hmm. Like they've just, anytime that like he tries to sell it as a win in any way, they come and take a dookie on it. Like they won't let him do it. And that's what it's going to take for him to walk away. He's going to need to be able to at least save face and claim it as a victory. And the Iranians are just not going to allow it.
Well, you led perfectly into a clip that I want to play, but then you just kept on talking.
Oh, my bad. Well, I didn't know where we were going, so I was just kind of walking around.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play the clip now.
Let's
anyway. And the reference that I'd like to make is that like that first part about Trump sounds really familiar.
Okay.
And this is kind of what it sounds like. So,
all right.
Here, we'll play this one.
China has an oversized influence. I'd like them to use their influence for the good of the world. I don't believe Putin is there yet, but it wouldn't take much to get him there. And the sooner we can have a dialogue about peace, the quicker this war is over. I've never been more optimistic than I am today that we have the formula to end this war. Help Ukraine be more lethal. Let those supporting Russia to know it's going to be a price to be paid if you keep doing it. And to try to find an off-ramp, not to humiliate Putin, but to end this war so that Ukraine will thrive and survive. We have a magic moment in time here. In the coming months, if we do this right, increase Ukraine's lethality, get people to help us with Putin, rather than propping him up, we can end this war.
It's almost a tease, you know? Like there's a part in it where you're like, oh, man.
He's advocating for the right thing.
Yeah, like he wants peace. He wants to talk it out. He wants to settle this thing, get out of this war. Where's the old Lindsey Graham that we know and love? And yep, there it is.
And then he like sticks his head back.
Yeah, because his answer to this whole thing is we just need to make Ukraine more lethal. If we can help Ukraine to kill more Russians, that'll obviously bring the war to an end much quicker. And it's like he doesn't understand, and I know he does.
Oh, yeah.
Or did.
Yeah.
I guess, did we even mention that Lindsey Graham died? I'm sure everybody knows.
You just mentioned it in passing it when we started,
okay.
But yeah.
That no matter how much stuff we give to Ukraine,
they're not winning.
Russia can be way more lethal than Ukraine.
Yeah, they're the bigger bully. I mean, it's just what it is.
And if it comes to like who can kill the most people, Russia has 5 times more population than Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean it's that exactly.
It's just like the most absurd thing, and And I'm blown away that anyone thinks that this is the answer. Like, I do understand what he's promoting is he's promoting this idea that if we can make it really painful for Russia, then they'll give up.
They'll cry uncle.
We're not doing that.
No, we're not, and Russia's not going to either. And Lindsey Graham knew that. The thing that Lindsey Graham was trying to do is the thing he's always trying to do, and it's sell more weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who he was. That is his legacy. He's the weapons dealer.
Yeah. I mean, I do, like, I think that he leaves a legacy of advocating conflict, and I worry about it frustrates me to hear these hagiographies about how, like, he was a dedicated public servant.
Oh, I heard one the other day talking about how, and this was actually I thought pretty interesting. They were referring to him as the Maverick, that he was the Maverick because, prior to Trump, he really voted with Democrats a lot. And they failed to mention
that was on the war in Ukraine.
It was on issues of war, period.
Yeah.
Like that's him and John McCain both. They had this reputation as being mavericks, but that was where it was at. It wasn't that they were like walked the line and sometimes voted this, sometimes voted that. No, they just always voted for the same thing, no matter who was in power.
Yeah.
And it was more war.
Yeah. Well, he The idea that he was like this dedicated public servant, and I'm sorry for his family. I don't know that he had really any family, but
no, I mean he had.
I'm sure that he
has a sister that's serving in his stead for the rest of his term.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's really all. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he had more family than that, but he didn't have a wife and kids.
Well, yeah.
I
think fairly obvious reasons, but
yeah, it's pretty clear.
I say that I don't have a wife and kids either, and I'm not gay, so
yeah, but that's not but that's you, not him. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think that he, I was going somewhere and then I lost it entirely. Oh, I'm sure that he had some people that were actually friends.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for their loss.
I'm sure, yeah. And like I said, I don't want to see anybody
Maybe
go.
even some that weren't military contractors.
I bet it's a handful. Seriously, I bet it's a handful.
Yeah, you're the one talking about dancing on this guy's grave, so
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I hate dancing on anybody's grave, but I'm sorry. I think you nailed it though earlier that it's not good for the public for this guy to be canonized.
Right.
It's just not. I hate it for his family. I hate all of that. But at the same time, this guy was not the statesman that he's made out to be.
Yeah. Unlike him, I don't relish the loss of life. But
yeah,
it is important to remember who this guy really was.
Exactly. And we should all be remembered for who we were, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I do, his passing worries me a little bit that he's going to become kind of a martyr, actually. That he'll become an excuse for support for war in Iran, for utterly annihilating Iran. It was Lindsey Graham's dying wish that we completely wipe Iran off the face of the earth. And it was Lindsey Graham's dying wish that we eliminate Putin and any threat that may come from Russia. And so we have to do that in this guy's memory.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from there, but at the same time, while the media and everybody may make this big parade about Lindsey Graham, most of the people don't really support it. There's only one really demographic that was like Lindsey Graham camp. Yeah. And it's not a majority.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, we've seen, there's no war that the U.S. has been involved in since 9/11.
Yeah.
That America has really gone all in and supported.
That's true.
Every war that we've been in
is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The public isn't behind it, but they're dragged in long.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the public thinks about war.
Yeah, and that's true. And I've been surprised this week with us jumping back into this Iranian thing. How many? I'm not talking about commentators. I'm just talking about like people out there. There is a segment of the population that really supports this war with Iran.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a majority. It's a small minority, but they're vocal and they are out there.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
I have when I talk to people that advocate for this war, or listen to people that are advocating for this war, and maybe this is maybe I'm turning into a leftist, but what I hear is you hate Muslims and Arabs, actually, even though they're Persians.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it.
There's been so much propaganda for so long about how terrible Islam is and how they're all awful people, even though we get along just fine with some majority Muslim nations. We have never had problems with Indonesia.
Yeah.
Like, it's the biggest Muslim nation in the world. I think the largest population of Muslims is in India.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know how true that is, but there's a lot of them there.
Well, there's like 1.3 billion people in India or something like that.
I was going to say there's a lot.
It is
of
a
them.
major religion there, even though it's not the biggest religion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. A quarter of 1.3 billion people is the size of this country.
Yeah.
of our country.
Of our country. Yeah. I mean, it's a mix of that, because that's absolutely part of it. But a lot of it is, a lot of people just buy into the fact that Iran was trying to get a nuclear weapon.
And they were 2 weeks away.
And if they got it, they'd use it. Like, and that's the actual part that bothers me the most. Now, I don't believe that they were trying to get a nuclear weapon. I think that it's been hashed out pretty well that that's not the case. Mm-hmm. But even if it was, I just don't believe that they're that crazy they'd want to use it. And I think that their actions throughout the past few years, like, bear that out.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I mean, they have too many weapons in their arsenal that they're not using to believe that they want to use that one when they get it, if they got it. I don't. But once again, it goes back to the media and the propaganda, and that stuff is powerful.
Well, can we talk about economics for a moment?
Sure.
Because I know that, like, we were prophesying doom, economic doom, as a result of this war.
Yep.
And there have been price rises and so forth, but it hasn't been as extreme as we had anticipated.
Yeah. And I also would just like I don't know where you're going here, but I would like to say the bill ain't came due yet.
Well, that's partly true. And there were a whole bunch of things that were done to mitigate the damage.
But those
and the biggest one probably that most people don't know about is that China reduced their oil imports tremendously during this time. They were working off their own reserves and reduced their because they're the biggest importer of oil in the world, and they reduced their imports by more than 20%.
Well, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have a lot of choice because they were buying it at a discount from Iran prior to this conflict.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they were trying to mitigate the damage too. Like they were like, okay, well, if this is short term, we can turn internally for a little while,
which
not
everybody
put a big
else
strain on the market.
Everybody else has done that too. Like we've ran through our reserves, from what I understand.
Yeah, we're at a point where we can't really use them anymore. Or the places where they're stored start to have damage.
Yeah.
Because it needs a certain amount of volume.
Because you have to,
You have
My
to
dad ran a
maintain
gas
volume.
station. You have to have so much in the tank.
Yeah. But there were other things too. So Saudi Arabia, UAE, I think. Anyway, other Middle Eastern oil exporters that were on the Straits of Hormuz, that their oil would normally pass through the Straits of Hormuz, they were able to redirect a portion of their supply, of their production, to other ports to avoid that.
Yeah.
In the reignition of this war, one of the first things that happened was that Iran targeted those alternate routes.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. I'm not aware of that.
So, like one of the big ports in Saudi Arabia that they had diverted a bunch of their oil production or their export to. Yeah. Export volume to has now been attacked by Iran and is not usable anymore.
So they're starting to push some of these buttons then that are gonna drive up the cost of this war.
And I don't know how much China has continued to keep their oil imports low, but they can't do it forever. Yeah. So at some point, like all of that demand's going to return to the market. Yeah. And there's just not going to be the volume.
There's nothing that can be done about it. Yeah.
And at that point, prices will go up. And then I know, like, we definitely talked a bunch about how this would affect food production. Yeah. And food prices. And that's something that is a delayed. That's what you were talking about earlier. Is like the bill didn't come due yet. Yeah. That's something that, like, in this growing season, we're still relying on last growing season.
Yeah, exactly.
Next year,
yeah, it's coming.
The effects of not having the kind of fertilizers and so forth available that we usually have, the production being down, that's when we're really going to feel that.
Exactly.
I think this was a huge mistake. I think that history will show in the end that this was a huge mistake.
I mean, this war is vastly unpopular. Like, I mean, when I talk about the people that support it, it's a minority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody pretty well realizes how bad this is and how bad it can get. It's a no-win situation. I don't understand. I don't know how it gets de-escalated beyond Trump just like picking up and walking away.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, like it's becoming more and more clear that Iran is not interested in letting us just like let this go.
Yeah. Well, they have the upper hand and they know it.
Well, they know it, and it's crazy to me. Like there's some commentary on the Facebook page on some posts where people just don't understand that just the idea that we're losing this war,
people are being told it's the same thing in Ukraine.
Yeah.
People are being told by the news media that Ukraine's making a big push and they're like really doing a lot of damage to Russia now, and that and
the tides are turning.
Yeah. And the tides have been turning for 2 years, but we hadn't actually seen that yet.
Yeah.
And the same is true in Iran. Like, all their military capabilities are completely destroyed. Like, they can't do anything anymore. Yet they still managed to put missiles on target.
Yeah, then you get reports that they've done stuff, and it's like both these things can't be true at the same time.
Yeah, and they have gone after U.S. military bases all over the Middle East, and we keep getting reports that, well, there was no damage done or whatever, but like insider reports are saying, oh yeah, there was.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of our bases are just rendered unusable at this time, and I don't know what to believe. I'm not there. I don't know. I've heard reports both ways, so.
I know that the first casualty of war is the truth.
Well, I know that, and I figure it's somewhere. I mean, if you use the whole thing, well, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Then a portion of our bases are that way.
Yeah,
like I don't know. Like, and these reports and pictures are coming from somewhere. So you know,
I think the U.S. just can't get out of an old war mindset.
Yeah, well, that's and when you read the comments on the Facebook page, that's what you take away from it, is because it's all about
Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, and some of it's in groups and stuff like that. But yeah, there's comments all over the place about it. But yeah, and that's really kind of where it's at, is that, you know, well, they're decimated, they're destroyed, and like that. All of that may be true. That don't mean that we're winning though.
Yeah.
Like there's the war had objectives, and they were pretty clear from the not clear enough probably, but they were clear from the beginning. I mean, Trump said laid out all kinds of war objectives, and I just want anybody to tell me which one of those is checked off the list.
Yeah, I mean, so going back to Vietnam, we had bombed just about every military target available and deforested huge swaths of land. In Vietnam, and we still ended up having to leave that in a loss.
Yeah.
And and this is what I see here now, is that the U.S. can't get past this mindset that war is won through capture of land and destruction of targets. And in Ukraine, Russia's not really interested in land. Like, they'll take some, they'll lose some, it doesn't matter. The point that they're trying, like what they're trying to accomplish, and that they're accomplishing pretty effectively, is destroying the military capabilities of Ukraine. They don't care whether they have more land or abandon some land if it ends up in the destruction of more military hardware and people in Ukraine.
And by the way, we said that from the beginning. Like one of the early on, I think one of the quotes was like, Russia doesn't care if there's a graveyard between them and the other side.
Yeah.
They just want a buffer.
Right.
Like that's all they're after here. And that's just like what you said. That's their objective, is to take out all of this hardware and stuff that's in Ukraine. They don't really care about controlling or owning the land. That's just more responsibility. Mm-hmm. They just want there to not be military hardware on their next door, which, by the way, is no different from us. It's not like we'd allow something like that in Cuba or Mexico, Cuba being a good example.
Right.
So...
Well, then in Iran, you have the whole thing about the military targets. Well, we've hit all the military targets. There are no military targets left. Well, but they're still capable of waging war.
Yeah, yeah.
And all they've got to do is not lose.
Yeah, yeah. And from what I understand, the stuff that they're using is buried down deep enough that there's just not much we can do. Short of boots on the ground, there's just not much we can do about it.
Right.
And when you're talking about, dude, there's no way we can do. I mean, I guess we can. We're capable of doing anything, I guess, but I just don't see any way we do boots on the ground in Iran. That will be a bloodbath.
Yeah, the other thing I want to just mention is Trump's thing about. Well, first off, he seems very proud of the fact that he's at the top of Iran's hit list.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he mentions it over and over and over again, like it's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
But...
Well, he doesn't know how to not be proud. Well, in his defense.
That's absolutely true. But the idea that, well, okay, well, we'll just completely destroy... I've left instructions. They'll be bombed like they've never been bombed before and all this stuff, right?
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be much of a threat to them, as we've seen.
Well, and the thing that I mostly wanted to point out here is that the U.S. and Israel have made assassination a part of this war.
Yeah, it started this way.
And, yeah, Israel's been assassinating scientists in Iran for a decade at least.
Yeah.
And let us not forget that that one of Trump's final acts in his first term of office was to assassinate Qasem Soleimani.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we weren't even at war with Iran at that time.
Yeah.
And they seemed to think that was perfectly legitimate action. But, really bristle at the idea that Iran would use assassination against us.
And to think that just think about it if you follow it logically. If they were somehow able to assassinate Trump, the rally around the flag you would have in this country, they're no different. They're people just like we are in Iran. So every time...
It was well mirrored with the burial of the Ayatollah, or the funeral of the Ayatollah. There were millions of people out in the street.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of those folks didn't like the Ayatollah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's got to be the case. But they were still out there because it's still their country.
Yeah.
It's
not our place to get rid of their leader.
It's not our place to deal with their political problems. Mm. It's just not. And we would feel the same way.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's true everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't accomplish anything for us to deal with some other country's political problems, because then we just become the enemy.
Exactly. So,
and as far as the advertisement of a kill switch kind of response, dead man's hand kind of response to the loss of our president.
I'm just not comfortable with the president having that type of dead man switch. I mean, I feel like...
I don't think he would actually be... you would still have people that had to make decisions.
That's what I'm saying.
As soon as he was gone, J.D. Vance is the guy that's actually in charge.
Gonna make the
He's
decision.
The one that has to pull the trigger at that point.
Exactly.
They don't... The military isn't responsible to a dead president.
Right. Even if the switch has been flipped.
Yeah. But what I wanted to point out is it incentivizes any enemy of Iran to try and get rid of our president.
Well,
and it's easy enough to find somebody who can be tracked back to Iran, even if the resources come from somewhere else.
Yeah. And we have an ally that I would not put it past them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
They're not technically an ally, but we are told over and over again that they're the best.
I thought they were our greatest ally.
Our greatest ally in the Middle East, at least. Yeah.
I mean, I hear that over. I'm just saying because Trump's not valuable to them. They don't care about him.
Yeah. I mean, what I keep thinking about is the stories that we heard over and over and over again in the war in Afghanistan, about how, like, our people were on the ground. They were talking to local warlords to try and find out who were terrorists, and they were using that information to attack the terrorists out there, only to find out that actually the local warlords were putting the U.S. military on their rival warlords.
Exactly.
That had nothing to do with terrorism, but all they had to do was make the claim that they were terrorists or supporting terrorists, and the U.S. military would take out their rival for them.
Yeah, because the U.S. military doesn't know any different, because it only knows what we hear on the ground.
Exactly.
and what's going on the ground is there's these groups that's been feuding with each other for decades, and, that we just entered into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole thing's a mess.
It is quite the mess.
And I think probably, like, to close out here, what I want to talk about is just how dangerous it is to have a country that's constantly at war.
Yeah.
Like, war is the excuse for everything terrible that our government does. War was the excuse for the government to get involved in the economy. War is the excuse to print money like crazy. War is the excuse to raise your taxes, although they try to hide that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as much as they need to raise your taxes to actually support the war.
Yeah.
We got stuck in Afghanistan forever because we were unwilling to leave, even though we weren't accomplishing anything. And in fact, we left Afghanistan worse off than when we went into it 20 years and $1 trillion or however much earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
$6 trillion, I've heard as much as.
I heard some clip from, oh crap, I forgot his name now. Oh crap. Not Greenspan.
Besant?
No. He's a columnist. I just had his name, and now I can't think of it.
Oh, I have no idea. The first person that pops to mind is what's his name, Friedman, from the New York Times.
Yeah, but at any rate, it may come to me. If it does, I'll mention it. But he was talking about how, like, ever since 9/11, we've been in this country in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole, like, pretext for the Patriot Act was, we've got to do this. And that's the reason the Patriot Act, although it's changed names,
it's the USA Freedom Act now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make it even more patriotic sounding, right? But the reason that it constantly has to be renewed is because it was never intended to be permanent. It was supposed to be for a state of emergency after 9/11.
But government never gives up power.
Exactly.
And the empire is a huge part of that. And I think that that's what people have to understand, is that we have to fight against the U.S. empire if we're ever going to get a reduction in government. So if we're ever going to take power away from the U.S. government, it's got to start with eliminating the U.S. empire, or at least eliminating the imperial mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Glenn Greenwald, by the way.
Glenn Greenwald, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's strange because we just were celebrating last week, and we were in our patriotic mode.
Yep.
Around the 4th of July, and it's funny to think now. So we've gotten through that patriotic mode. I feel like I can go back to criticizing the U.S. again.
Yeah.
Government.
Government.
I guess I never really stopped.
Yeah.
But all the same, the government that we suffer under now is far worse than the government that the founding fathers fought a revolution to free themselves from.
Exactly.
And I think that there's a really important part of the Declaration of Independence that a lot of people forget about. And since, it was just 2 weeks ago that we were celebrating the writing of the Declaration of Independence, usually we read a bunch of it on the podcast around that time, and we didn't. So we're going to do it now.
I'm making up for it now. I like it.
And I'm going to point out the part that I think is really important that we've got to remember. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And
consent of the governed.
And I'm going to stop right here and point out also that a government cannot have any rights that a person doesn't have, or any powers that a person doesn't have. Yeah. Like, all of the powers are delegated from the people to the government.
Yeah.
The government doesn't have extra special powers.
Yeah.
At least not in their idea.
Or any money beyond what they take from us, by the way.
Yeah, that's true too. Now, this is the point that I wanted to bring out. And this is the next line, all right? So, like, I am not skipping anything. This is where they go next. And this is the part that I think that we forget about too much. And we really need to remember is that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Oh, there's groups out there that haven't forgot that part.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying. It's
honestly, I thought it said duty there.
I thought it said duty. I actually thought it did think it said duty too.
I thought it said
because I always hear it.
Not that it's the right of the people, that it's the duty of the people.
I've heard it said that way. Now that's probably not.
I mean, I just pulled up the first thing on the internet that said it was the transcript of the Declaration of Independence.
Maybe you got the watered down version.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe I've been hearing the watered up version, but
yeah. In my head, it said duty.
I thought I remembered duty too. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. Maybe the reality we're living in is different.
Yeah, they changed something again.
Exactly. That hydro collider, man.
They keep changing things. I was talking with a guy at work today, and I was saying that Woodrow Wilson was the worst thing that ever happened to this country, and we were talking about a long line of presidents that have been that have destroyed the value of the dollar.
Yeah.
Through their decisions. And I was like, the worst thing that ever happened to this country was Woodrow Wilson. That he was the beginning of the progressive era. He is the one that brought us into. I said, he was like, I don't know enough about the history to pass a judgment on this. I said, I will give you two things.
Yeah.
And I'll stop there, but I will give you two things. One, he brought us into World War I for the reason of protecting the investments of the people who had lent money to the Allies. The American citizens, the power brokers who had lent money to the Allies to protect their investments, the U.S. went to war.
Yeah.
All right. And the other thing that he did was his administration instituted the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, well, that I was aware of.
I was like, that's everything that you should need to know to know that he was like the real turning point in the destruction of this country. But he, like, World War I and financial issues and so forth were an excuse for his administration to give government power to usurp. I really want to use that word there.
Yeah.
To usurp power over the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
And the allocation of resources and so forth.
Yeah.
And that was where we really started to fall. Like all that other stuff with the government, like it can only do so much damage. But once you relinquish a free market, then you're really in trouble. And that's where, I mean, I'm sure that there were other usurpations before that, but that's where it really...
That's a nice place to draw the line.
That's where it was really, like, it became institutional.
Yeah.
You know? And I was saying, I think the last, like, really good president that we had, I think it's John, I can't remember the first name. Last name's Taylor, though.
Okay.
And it was, like, in the early to mid 19th century...
Yeah.
This guy. And he only served one term. And he only served one term because and why I think he was a great president is he actually read the Constitution.
Yeah.
And understood that the Constitution granted some powers and mostly laid restrictions on everything else.
Yeah.
Like, that was the purpose of it.
Yeah.
It was to identify the powers that the government had, and everything else was off limits. That's the way it was first
That's the
pictured.
way it's, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And he was a guy that sat there in the Oval Office, and when bills came across his desk, he would go, "That power is not granted to the federal government in the Constitution. I'm not signing this."
Yeah.
"That power is not granted to the federal government in the U.S. Constitution. I'm not signing this." And they were immediately like, "We got to get rid of this guy."
Yeah, right. He is not moving us forward.
Yeah, this is a problem. We cannot have a guy that actually thinks that the government is restricted in any way. We need to put somebody else in that will give us, that will allow us to usurp powers that weren't granted to us in the first place.
Yeah. Well,
So that's my rant for the day.
well, I'm just saying, in the last 25 years or so, there's been a lot of usurping going on.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's just a mistake. It's like more. Honestly, I would say, and maybe it's because you and I aren't as motivated as my brother, but I would say that it's a responsibility that we don't want to run the world.
Well, yeah.
Like, why would we want that responsibility?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Because you can never do it right.
Yeah, live and let live. As long as they're not like, our military should be defensive and defensive only.
Yeah.
It's not and defensive of our country.
Yeah. Yeah.
not of everybody else. Because the truth is that there's a lot of countries that if we really felt that it was our responsibility to protect people that couldn't protect themselves around the world, that we would be involved in a lot of other places.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we only get involved in places that serve our own interests, or serve the interests of big corporations and big donors.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's definitely, I'm trying to think of the right word, but we pick and choose.
Yeah, and I did have, okay, so somebody else I was having a discussion with, and I said probably something along that line, or it was something else, but I identified government and corporations separately.
Yeah, yeah.
And this person was like, "Well, there's really not any difference." I was like, "Yeah, but there really is.
There should be. There should be a difference."
Well, there really is a difference. I said that, and the difference is that government has a monopoly on the use of violence to get their way.
Yeah,
And corporations do not. Corporations have to use government to get that power.
But that's where I was going but the way it actually works, though, is that they work in unison together. Like, you're right, the government is the one that holds the power, but the corporations are so in bed. The bad corporations, I mean, a lot of them are so in bed with the government that there's just not that much space between them.
Yeah, and I understand that that's true, but that's a failure of our ability to keep our government in line. Not
100%. No question.
The problem is that people look at that and see that it's a failure of capitalism,
Yeah,
or a failure of the free market. It's a failure of government. It's not a failure of the free market.
Yeah, and it's a failure of us as people, as far as like the people we've let represent us, and
and our own vigilance against preventing government from usurping authority.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's failures all the way around.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we do. Time to get motivated.
Yeah, it's a shame I'm so lazy.
Yeah. I mean, we can do what we can, but the truth is me, you, and a dozen other people can't really affect that much change. It takes a population that's ready to create that change. And the truth is, I mean, we can try as we will to motivate people and get people to start doing stuff, but everybody's struggling to survive, man.
Well, that's when revolutions happen, though.
I know. Oh, I know. That's the reason. Like, we are rife for this type of thing.
Yeah. In a year or two, when the consequences finally hit home.
Yeah.
Solidly hit home from this war in Iran, there might be a different feeling.
No, and you're right, because I mean things are already tough for people out there today, and it's unfortunately, and I really had hoped that Trump was going to like rein some of this in and be a force for good, and it's clear at this point that that's not going to happen, and it's not going to get any better. It's the next few years could be tough. My worry is that revolution you speak of will not be the revolution that we need.
No. It's, if things go the way they're going, it's going to be a socialist revolution.
Yeah.
And this is another thing about the like a free market as opposed to what we have now that I think is important. I doubt we have socialists listening to our podcast. I think that we would probably turn them off pretty quickly. Well, I mean, I hope that that's true. I don't like preaching to the choir. Yeah. There's no point in it.
I've been very active in some socialist groups with the Facebook page. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of them follow our page.
Well, that's cool. Probably because they like the memes, or they like arguing with the memes, or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Because I like to think some of them tune in, but I may be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so there are people that would say that I suspect that most of our audience leans more to the right than to the left.
That's probably true.
And that might be a side effect of just where we are. Like our version of like the Southern style of libertarianism is probably just generally more conservative than a lot of places.
I like that. I hadn't heard that term, but the Southern style libertarianism. We got to start using that. I like it.
Okay. I'll write it down.
Write it down. Put it in the book. I like it.
So, but my experience is that right-wingers are more willing to listen with things that they don't agree with.
And having spent a lot of time in some of those left-wing groups, like they're pretty open about it. I see posts all the time where they have a screenshot of some conversation that they're posting with pride, and it's just like, I just couldn't converse with this person anymore. Like, I just can't listen to that type of bigotry. And it's not bigotry that they use that word bigotry, but I'm reading them like, that's not. I mean, that's a stretch.
Yeah. So I kind of get the feeling that more people that lean more right are more likely to listen to our podcast because we disagree with everybody on some things.
Yeah, that's true.
And my experience is that with people that lean right that listen to our podcast, I get comments like, well, I agree with I don't know, half of what you say. And the other half just really pisses me off.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something about that part that pisses them off. The more they hear it and the more they think about it and let it settle in, they'll start figuring it out.
Well, I hope that that's true. But my experience so I have a lot of friends that are left-wing. Yeah. And most of them have listened to the podcast.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah, I was fixing to say they don't continue to.
So they might be I might be talking about open borders and immigration policy, and they might be right there with, absolutely, that's right. And then I say something about a free market economy being more valuable or whatever, and they're like, screw that, I'm done with this guy. Yeah. Yeah. It only takes one thing.
They really want to create that echo chamber, because it is funny because when you really start thinking about it, that's the only way that survives. Yeah. If too much outside gets in, I mean, they don't know that, I guess, but maybe it's a subconscious thing. But if too much of that gets in, they're going to start thinking about things too much and start moving their ideas.
Yeah,
I'm personally always willing to move my ideas. I've moved far from where I used to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty confident in what I proclaim because I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. But that doesn't I'm still open minded. If I get a good argument, okay, so chances are, and this is true in all debates, I think, honestly, with other people. In the moment, you're not changing anybody's ideas. Yeah. But you plant a seed, right? They go home and they think about it, and I do the same thing. If I get in a debate with somebody and about something that we disagree on, I'm thinking constantly for like if they've made good, strong arguments, I'm spending a lot of time thinking about what they said.
Yeah.
Now, part of it is I'm trying to think of a better way of answering that problem.
Yeah.
But I also can reach a point where I'm like, no, that's right.
They win.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am willing to change my ideas. I'm just really confident in what I already believe.
Because you've moved so far and learned so much. Because it is.
Yeah, I'll be 50 in just a couple of months.
I wasn't making a reference to that. I was just making a reference that you've spent a lot of time and moved around a lot as far as where your ideas are.
Yeah.
And I've done the same. Like I say, I've absolutely had those moments listening to even Ron Paul where I've had moments where I'm like, oh, well, that's just a bridge too far. Like I can't get on board with that. But then you start looking and thinking about it more and more. It's like, well, maybe he's right.
Yeah. With Ron Paul, I'm actually mostly on the other side of that, where I'm just like, so that's the point where you think government should do something.
Yeah.
What I did want to point out though is that this idea of the socialist revolution, and that it's a response to quote unquote late stage capitalism.
Oh yeah.
Where, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and that there's this huge divide between the haves and the have-nots and so forth. Like, that is socialism. That's where socialism is. That's where socialism lives, actually.
Yeah.
Is that a few elite people that have a majority of everything and everybody else is poor.
Yeah.
It does not create equality. It creates huge wealth disparities. That's what socialism actually does in practice.
Yeah. I worry about the socialism less just because we're going to run these experiments. Like New York is one of these experiments. And maybe I'm wrong, but in a couple of years from now, I think we're going to be looking at New York like, yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, well, but there's been lots of experiments historically.
Oh, yeah.
And as Owen Benjamin was said so frequently, they all end in starvation and genocide.
Yeah.
But still people want to do it because they think, well, our brand of socialism,
we will tweak it. It will be different. Yeah.
They did this wrong and that wrong, and we'll do. All you got to do is include democracy in it.
Yeah, that's the one I hear the most. Is
yeah.
So.
And I'm here to tell you that democracy ain't all that great.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of stupid people who vote.
Yeah, there is.
Anywhere, actually. And I guess in some places it doesn't have that much of an effect, but you'll see polls on in chats and so forth, and people will vote and things won't, they'll get what they voted for, and they're like, oh, well, I didn't really know what I don't like this, and I didn't really know what I was voting for.
Then why did you vote?
Yeah, exactly. But that's true in political scenarios too. People go in and vote and have no idea what they're voting for.
Yeah. There's plenty of times I abstain from local elections because I'm just like, I don't know any of these people. I'm not informed enough to cast a ballot on this.
Exactly. If people would just, when you sit there in the voting booth, you don't actually have to vote on everything.
Yeah, right. It's not a requirement.
Yeah. If you don't know what you're voting on, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah. I agree. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, it's not like a Scantron.
Yeah. That's so funny. I didn't know I could abstain.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We've probably talked long enough. It's hard to tell. We had a little bit of a technical issue, but that's,
Yeah. But the seamless transition through
I hope to achieve.
Yeah.
I'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any reason we're not doing something next week?
No, we should be able to do something. I mean, it may be Friday like this week. It may be Thursday. I don't know. Things are chaotic right now, but I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to post.
Okay. Well, we expect to be back next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, like and share. comment. You can always email me, michael@thelibertymike.com. All the engagement helps.
Interact with the Facebook stuff. We had some issues with Facebook. Does not like us.
No.
So the page had gotten restricted for a bit, and the restrictions have been lifted again. So I'm active again.
Do you think that I can actually share from
you may
our
actually,
Liberty Mike page to my personal page?
Possibly.
Possibly. Because I have not been able to share from the Liberty Mike page that I control to my personal page.
No, it's very irritating.
For like months.
They won't tell you why. And because we've been restricted a lot over the years, but like this last round, like I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what exactly we were being restricted for. Never got an answer. Eventually it just resolved itself. But I say all of that to say that the interactions help. The comments really seem to help. So comment, like, share, the whole 9 yards. Because I'm trying to grow the page and get more activity on there. So
help us find our way into the algorithm, everyone.
Yeah, and the comments do the most for it. Like from what I've seen.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way. But it all helps. So.
All right. Well, do those things. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best still.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.